How you doing, guys? Big Waaagh Danskull here again today, back once again with another Ork video for you. But what's this you see in front of me? Well, this is an Ork video with a little twist. Basically, I've had the idea that whenever I can't come up with something better to do in one of my Ork videos, show you something I'm working on, building or painting, converting, whatever, or just talk about a unit, then I think I might just do a little battle report for you, but with a slight twist. Now the twist is a simple one, but basically I'm posing the question, what if Conquest had Orks in it? So I'm going to be playing through some Conquest-esque missions, but with Orks instead of Death Guard, and sometimes maybe Orks instead of Space Marines. There's no reason that if they did an Ork version of Conquest, there's no reason for them to face Space Marines, and there's no reason to face one particular army, because Orks just love to fight. They love fighting whoever they can get a good fight out of. But for the majority of the time I'll probably be facing the Imperial fists. And you'll see there's not going to be one next week necessarily, but you'll see with each new mission I put up, I'll try and keep it balanced, but because I'm picking the armies rather than just getting the armies to give you within the magazine, because I'm picking the armies, it might not always be that balanced. But we've seen, if you've watched some of my Conquest tutorial mission videos, we've already seen that the armies aren't necessarily that balanced. You know, I played through the missions a couple of times in some of the videos, and the same side comes out on top more often than not. So it's more in this, it's more just a bit of fun, bit of dice rolling, and you get to see some Orks in action instead of some Death Guard or instead of some Imperial Fist perhaps. Yeah, so it's a way to get more Orks on my channel, and you get to see some of my painted Orks as well, which I don't tend to do showcase videos or anything like that, but I figured you know, if you see them on the battlefield, then it'd be a more, I don't know, a better chance for you to see them in action basically, rather than just seeing them spinning around on a turntable or something like that. So this first mission, it's actually, I've got the Intercessors and Reavers on the tabletop here, but it is just the Intercessors in this first mission, because they were the first 3 miniatures you got with Conquest, and they're going to be taking on 3 Nobz. Now, you don't get 3 Nobz, you get 5 Nobz, but I figured I'd try and make it as balanced as possible, so I just grabbed 3 Nobz. One of them's going to have a chopper, one of them is going to have a power claw, and one of them with a combi flamer, combi scorcher. So yeah, we'll see how we get on now with not Conquest, with
Mission War.
As you can see in front of you guys, we have 3 Intercessors and 3 Ork Nobz. Now these Ork Nobz I have outfitted in such a way that they'll be competitive against the Intercessors, but it's not going to be too overbalanced one way or the other, I'd say. So they're pretty evenly matched by my judgment, although I don't play a lot of 40k. So feel free to criticise me in the comments below. First off, the Intercessors are all armed with bolt rifles, which are 30-inch rapid-fire weapons, so they can fire twice at 15 inches or less. They also have bolt pistols, frag and crack grenades. The Ork Nobz have stick bombs, and this guy has a chopper and a slugger. This guy has a slugger and a power claw, so the chopper gives him an extra close combat attack. The power claw gives him double the strength in close combat attacks, but -1 on his to hit rolls. And this guy has a combi scorcher, which the scorcher gives D3 strength 5 -1 AP shots. Sorry, D6, not D3. And the standard is like a shooter basically, so it's an 18-inch weapon with 2 shots at strength 4 for the shooter part of that weapon. So let's roll off and see who gets the first turn. The Orks are going to have the green dice because they've got green skin. Oh, it's going to be first turn to the Intercessors, and they will deploy first as well. So I'll come back after deployment. So as you can see on the battlefield, I've deployed the Intercessors down here. The reason being is because I thought if I deploy them up there, the Orks can sort of... I think the Orks would find it easier to use the containers as cover to get up to the other end of the battlefield. But if I deploy them down here, they've actually... all they need to do is move out this way and they've got a good line of sight across the battlefield. Or that's whether if the Orks go this way or if the Orks come this way, then they've got a clear line of sight anyway. So yeah, that's the reason I've deployed the Intercessors there. And the Orks, I thought I'd just deploy them on the middle deployment zone in order to give them a few more options, basically. So the Intercessors will now make their move and then maybe take some shots. So as you can see, the Intercessors have moved up to and in front of the container, giving them a nice little line of sight. It's a little tricky to see, but the guy on top of the container and the guy in front of him definitely have a line of sight to one Ork. And this guy down here, I'll see if I can get a decent view for you. The guy down here actually just has line of sight, I believe. Yep, you can just see his base there at the other end of the battlefield. So that's going to be 15 inches is their rapid fire range. So I'll have to measure that out and see whether they get the rapid fire weapons effect or not. The battlefield itself is only 22 inches long, and I have measured it now. They all get rapid fire, so they're always likely to get rapid fire on a battlefield this small, so possibly weighted a little bit in favour of the Intercessors here. But let's see what sort of rolls they can get. That's going to be 6 shots, and they're hitting on 3s. That is 2 misses, so that's 4 hits, and it's a strength 4 weapon, toughness 4 for the Orks, so that means it's going to be 4s to wound. That is only 2 wounds, 2 failed. Meaning the Orks have to make 2 saves of 5 up. They have a 4 up save normally, but the -1 weapon that the Space Marines have means it's going to be 5 up to save for the Orks. That is 2 failed saves, so that is a dead Ork right off the bat. Question is now, as the Ork player, which one would I rather remove from play? So we have the Flamer guy, which as soon as the Orks move up here, the Flamer guy is going to become pretty useless, I'd say. So probably I'd rather take off the Flamer guy and get the guy with the chopper and the guy with the claw into close combat, because the guy with the chopper gets the extra attack and the claw does a lot of damage as well. So I'm going to get rid of the Flamer guy first. Then it's on to Ork turn 1. I'll come back after movement. So as you can see, the Orks have moved 5 inches further up the battlefield. They are not quite within range to throw a grenade, which is 6 inches. So they're going to both have to use their pistols to try and shoot the Space Marines. It's 1 shot each, and they're going to be hitting on 5s. That is 1 hit and 1 miss. They have exploding 6s, thanks to a rule called Daka Daka Daka, which means if they roll a natural 6 on a dice, so if the 6 lands face up, that means you get to make another shooting attack. But obviously he just rolled a 5, so he's just 1 hit, and it's strength 4 weapon. It's against toughness 4 Space Marines, so it's going to be wounded on 4s. It fails to wound anyway. So now the Orks are going to roll to see if they can get into close combat with the Space Marines. I'll measure it out and come back to you. I'll tell you what, I'll measure it now with this marker here. Measuring device here. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 inches. Yep, 6 inches, that charge distance. And the Space Marines are going to fire Overwatch, meaning they get to make a rapid shooting attack to see if they can take out any Orks as the Orks are rushing in. But because they're panicked, they're only hitting on 6s. That is 1 hit for the Space Marines. So hitting on 6s, wounding on 4s. Fails to wound anyway. So now the Orks have to get 2 dice, which I've got here, and they need to roll a 6 or more to get into close combat with the Space Marines. That is... they roll a double 1. Absolute disaster. If they didn't have a rule called Here We Go, which means they get to re-roll their charge distance, because Orks love to fight, so even if one of them falls over when they're rushing in, the other one will just pick him up and drag him along, and they'll get another chance to make that charge distance. So we need a 6 here. They make it with a 9-inch charge. So let's just grab this guy, move him there, and then this guy, move him there. So they're into close combat now. That means they get to fight first because they were the ones that made the charge. So they get to fight first. So what I'll do is attack with the guy with the chopper first. He gets 4 attacks because he gets 3 as standard, and the chopper gives him 1 extra attack. So it's 4 attacks, and he's going to be hitting on 3s. That is all but 1 hit. And it's strength 5 against toughness 4, so they're going to be wounded on 3s. That is 3 wounds. So it's 3 3-up saves for the Space Marine. That is 2 saves and 1 fail. So I'll just grab a marker here, a penny, and chuck it on one of the Space Marines here. This guy's a sergeant, so he gets an extra attack. So as a Space Marine player, I wouldn't want to put it on him, because each time someone gets wounded, that person has to continue taking wounds until they're taken out of play. So now it's on to the attacks of the guy with the Power Claw. Now the Power Claw is a stronger weapon, so it does a lot of damage, but it's heavy and unwieldy. So instead of hitting on 3s, he hits on 4s. So it's 3 dice, he's going to hit on 4s. That is 3 hits anyway. And he's going to wound on 2s, because that's how strong this weapon is. So that is 3 wounds. What we have to do now is allocate the wounds. So, and then make saving throws. 3 successful attacks and 3 successful wounds. So now we have to make saving throws. So the first one is going to go on him. It's going to be a 3-up save. And it's a failed save, so that's a dead Marine right off the bat. Now, after that, can he actually reach any of the other Marines? That's what you've got to ask. And I think the answer is no. So now, this knob, which is the attacking knob, he's no longer within 1 inch of either of these 2 Space Marines, so we can't actually affect them with his Power Claw. So that means the rest of the Ork attacks go nowhere, basically. So as the Space Marines are no longer within 1 inch of the Orks, that means they're no longer in combat. So we'll move now on to Space Marine turn 2. Are they going to move at all, the Space Marines? It's a tricky one, but I don't think they'll actually be wanting to move. They might as well just stand there and shoot and see if they can take out the Orks with the shooting attacks. They are getting the rapid fire again. They are hitting on 3s. That is 2 misses. Pretty bad shooting there from the Space Marines, but they are going to wound on 4s. That is 1 wound, and it's a 3-up save for the Orks, or 4-up save. No, a 5-up save for the Orks. So that is a wounded Ork. Should I put it on the chopper guy or the Power Claw guy? Well, the Power Claw guy did a bit of damage there, so I'll put it on the chopper guy. And then the Space Marine player, does he want to charge? That's the question, isn't it? Yeah, well, they're going to be charged themselves, aren't they? So they might as well charge the Space Marines. They are ridiculously close to the Orks, so they can't actually fail this charge. But just for the sake of it, I'll roll the dice anyway, see what its charge distance would be. And it would be 10 inches. So, it's moving down now into combat with the Orks. And it's 5 attacks for the Space Marines, because they've got that sergeant there, don't forget. So it's 5 attacks hitting on 3s. That is all but 1 hit, and they will be wounding on 4s. That's just 1 wound for the Space Marines. Unfortunate there. One thing I forgot was to fire Overwatch for the Orks, but in all likelihood they wouldn't have hit. And it's a 4-up arm save for the Orks. It's a save, so no more wounds taken by the Orks there, and they get to attack back now. This could have been a big mistake for the Space Marines. So the chopper guy, he's going to be hitting on 3s. 1 miss. He's going to be wounding on 3s as well. That is 2 wounds, so they'll both go on, well, the Imperial Fist player chooses which they go on. So it's 2 wounds. It's 2 3-up saves for the Imperial Fists. So he's going to put them both on the guy here, and it's 3-up saves. That is 1 saved, 1 failed, so it's a wound taken by the guy with the omniscope there, so I'll put that wound marker there to remember. And then it's onto the Power Claw dude. He's going to hit on 4s. That is 2 hits. He is going to wound on 2s. That's 2 wounds, so that means 2 6-up saves for the dude with the Power Claw. The dude with the omniscope. Both failed, meaning another dead Marine there. And the Orks will now consolidate, or pile in rather, at the end of that. And it's on to Orc turn 2 now. So, because it's Orc turn 2 and they've not charged this round, they actually get to fire their guns as well. So, because they've got pistol weapons, they will be hitting on 5s. 1 hit. They'll be wounding on 4s. Fails to wound. And it's on to the fight phase now. Hitting on 3s for the chopper. That is just 1 hit there, pretty bad. They'll be wounding on 4s. Wounds, and it's a 3-up save for the Marine. Makes it. Now it's on to the Power Claw dude. He's going to be 3 attacks hitting on 4s. That is 2 hits. The Sergeant's unlikely to survive this. Wounding on 2s. That's 2 wounds. We don't need to roll the damage roll. We might need to actually. It's 6-up saves for the Sergeant. 1 saved, 1 failed, so he does take a damage roll now. Now it's D3 damage for the Power Claw, meaning if it's a 3 or more, then the Sergeant is dead. It's a 6, so that is a dead Sergeant. And the Orcs have the victory in this first boarding battle report. So guys, that's it, game over. Wow, mission 1 was a triumph for the Orcs. I didn't expect it to go that way. I played through the mission beforehand with the same sides, and it didn't go quite as drastically in favour of the Orcs. So I thought it was quite balanced, but then it was a whitewash basically. We'll see how we get on in the next mission though. I'll make it a bit more challenging for the Orcs, I think. I'll introduce the Reavers into the next mission. But let me know what you think of this format for a video. Do you like these? I know 6+Stevo, he's an Orc channel, definitely check him out if you're not already subscribed to him, but he's got double the number of subscribers I've got now. He started a long time after me, and he's rushed right past me because he's focusing just on Orcs. So if you're after Orcs, definitely check out 6+Stevo. So he often talks about how small size games can be fun. So I figured this would be a way for me to roll more dice, get more used to playing on the channel, and sort of build up my backlog of bat reps, even though they're going to be really it's effectively, at this size of a game, it's not really 40k in my opinion. But it's, because you don't have the variety of units, but it's just gives you a chance to get used to the mechanics more than anything. So yeah, let me know what you think of this format in the comments below. Do you think I made the Orcs far too overpowered? It's 3 Nobz against 3 Intercessors basically, so I figured it might be alright, but turns out not that way. Let me know what you'd like me to add to the Nobz, if anything, for the next one when they take on 3 Intercessors and 3 Reavers. Drop your comments in the description below. Don't forget to check out the link to my Patreon as well. If you'd like to support the channel, I'm pumping funds into Mortal Realms magazines at the moment, but in the future it'll go to the channel in general, new lighting setups, microphones, second cameras, things like that. I'll leave it there for now guys, thanks very much for watching, stay tuned for more Orc content, and I'll see you on the battlefield.